some of the selfies that Cassie took on the way back. And a lot of you will be thinking, and maybe even the jurors will be thinking as well, well, why didn't, if she was so upset and feeling so bad and hurt, obviously, from being attacked by Diddy, why didn't she just want to end it all and tell the police what happened and show the evidence and show what the details are? In testimony from the government's witnesses, we will be hearing from a psychologist to talk about what it is like for domestic abuse, what it is like for the victims, and how they often try to cover for their attacker or their abuser. So we'll be hearing a little bit. Okay. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Okay. Hi, LeBron. Good morning, everyone. Of course, I was going to come over and do some Diddy coverage. Of course, of course, of course. Y'all have been requesting and requesting and requesting that I come live and give my 2 cents on everything that has been going on. So before we start, can y'all all hear me? Can you all hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me good? Do you hear any like static or anything like that? Because it's gross. We don't want any static. We don't want any of that. Makia Boo, can you hear me? Like, are you saying yes to that, or you're saying yes to the static? Okay, Caitlin Bree says loud and clear. Lauren says no static. I believe Lauren. I don't think he will lie to me because, like, we love each other. So, okay, Dina says yes. Okay, okay, Erica. Okay, great, great, great. I just want to make sure that it's not like staticky and all of that stuff. Okay, great. Hello everyone. Hi to Lux, Mariah, Judah, Diva, Melodies, Nakia. Hi everyone. I love you all. I love you all. Please hit the like, since y'all can hear me so clear without static. Please hit the like. Please hit the like. Okay. So this is day 2 of testimony from Cassie Ventura. Shout out to Cassie Ventura. The first day was a lot. Cassie getting up there, displaying a lot of information about what actually happened and how it all started. The freak off starting when she was about 22 years old. Diddy first sexually encountered her at the age of 19. And the freak offs lasted over a decade, from what Cassie was displaying. She said at times they would do with the last 3 days, sometimes 4 days, these, freak offs would last, and then putting her in like basically a blow up pool of lubrication and baby oil and hiring random prostitutes off of the streets, including it started because again, this was over a decade ago, with Craigslist, which is where they would find these casual encounters and these escorts, male escorts, to come through and basically have their way with Cassie, or directed by Diddy, but have their way with her. Um, Cassie also explained that she there was parts of the freak offs that she didn't mind. She said she didn't want to disappoint Diddy, which again makes a lot of sense. I think people are so captivated by the things that Cassie was saying that they're overlooking why she's saying these things, right? The things that Cassie was saying was extremely humiliating. Like these things should stay behind closed doors. Like, it's no one's business at the end of the day what goes on. We all like what we like, we all do what we do, because I may be the type of person that just wants to be with one person, and be linked in a relationship with one person, and because you may want to be a voyeur and experiment and be promiscuous and stuff like that, doesn't make you a bad person, or being even labeled as a smut, things like that. It's just you like what you like, you do what you do. So Cassie said that Diddy introduced her to a few things. One, basically forcing her into a relationship with him, And she was young. Being young, you got stars in your eyes. She was a singer slash dancer, all that good stuff. She wanted to be famous. She wanted to be a famous artist. And Diddy had the means to make that possible. He had the means to make that happen. Taking the single that she had and making her blow up or helping her blow up and whatnot around the world. Yeah. So again, she saw stars and he was still like her boss, and no one wants to disappoint. Like, you don't want to disappoint. And young people are very naive to what happens, not just in the industry, what happens in the world. So I think that Cassie kind of got caught up in, not the rapture, but caught up in everything that was going on to where she wasn't paying attention to what was actually happening. Shout out to Josie. Thank you so much for the super sticker. I love you, Josie. Thank you, sweetheart. I love you. I love you. I love you. Tippy, I would have to disagree. I don't think that it's greed. The reason why I wouldn't say it's greed, if I have a talent and I'm really good at my talent, if somebody comes through and says, "Hey, I want to take you on the road and try to make you a star because you have potential, to do so," and then I go on tour with this person, and then while I'm on tour, they start sending sexual innuendos my way, and then sexual energy, to where the sexual energy turns into them basically forcing me into a situation to where I can't say no. And that's what I'm saying, being young and naive, peer pressure is a lot. Peer pressure is strong. Diddy's not her peer. He's never been her peer. So she can't look at the things that he was trying to make her do, basically putting pills into her mouth and just, making her wing it and whatnot. Like, she had no idea. She is like a deer in headlights. And you don't necessarily want to say no because you don't know what that no could lead to. And with somebody like Diddy, can y'all get rid of this? I'll do it because I don't know what you're saying. And I don't want to. So we're just going to get rid of you. Yeah. So being a person like Diddy is and the caliber that he has, I think it's really hard to say no to somebody like him. And I think Diddy makes it hard by love bombing and being overly, giving, to where he'll just make you feel like he'll give you the shirt off his back, extremely hospitable, loving, caring, just being around people that show that same energy. So then you get the impression from them too that he is an okay person. And then you trick the person. It's like being in a DV relationship. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to know the person is abusive until it happens, until it starts. They're not going to show you any real signs. There'll be certain signs, but they're not going to be anything like distinctive to let you know that you should get away from this person as soon as possible. Sometimes the narcissistic personality that is tricking and gaslighting the person, it could take a little while for the abuse to start happening. Like, they don't do it right out the gate. It's not the day you meet them, they're slapping you around. And no, it's usually not like that. They usually wait till you fall for them, to where they get you to a point to where you are overly in like awe and in love and just in la la land with this person. It's like supernatural. How you feel about them. It's like no one can come in between that connection. That's when they have the power to initiate how they, or to show you who they really are, to show you what they've taken other people through in the past that you may not have met or may just not know. So again, a warning sign would be an ex coming up to you saying like, "Hey, he put me in the hospital," and stuff like that. You don't have any of that 9 times out of 10. That's why it's good to do your background history, to search a person's background before you actually like get serious with them, because a lot of stuff can be avoided if you know. With Cassie, she didn't know. So with her not knowing, I'm not making it seem like Cassie is extreme, like she's just super innocent. When it comes to being hurt and harmed, she is innocent. No one asks for that at all. But she may have taken part in things, and I'm glad that she was being honest about that, like stating there's certain parts of the freak offs and stuff that she didn't mind, because people are going to have that question instantly, like, why would you let this happen? No different than a person being in a DV relationship. Like, well, how could you be with somebody that treats you like that? How could you be with somebody that hurts and harms you? It's a roller coaster and it's a cycle, and there's levels to it. So it's not easy to just walk away from somebody you truly love. It's not easy to do that. Yeah, he may hurt and harm me, but I do love him. Like, if I left him, I would be sad. I would be hurt. I would be, worried. Like, You can't just cut it off. Like, it does not work like that. This is why the manipulator, the gaslighter, the narcissist takes his or her time usually before they inflict the damage, because then it's too late. Meaning, if they show you at the beginning of the relationship, it's a higher probability you will leave. You won't stay because it's like, oh no, this is well, ooh, wait, ooh, no, not me, But when you're in love, you will allow certain things, things that you wouldn't normally allow, like a person to hurt and harm you, a person to speak badly to you, a person to talk down on you, degrade you, force you into situations to where you're having SCX with other random men, to where you're being pimped out, and all of that love is still connected to it. So I don't believe that Cassie was being greedy when she got with Diddy. I think that that's what Diddy was doing. I think he's always been a greedy, narcissistic individual, but Diddy got it honest. Cassie stated in her first testimony that she did yesterday that men would be urinating in her mouth, multiple men, to the point where she would start choking on it and whatnot. Now, the visual instantly takes my mind going back to Robert Sylvester Kelly. This is his track record. This is a lot of things that he did. So it's not a coincidence that Robert Sylvester Kelly was doing this in videos to women, and whatnot, young ladies and whatnot. And then you come clip to Diddy, and Diddy doing the same thing, as if he didn't learn that from somewhere too. This is all learned behavior. Diddy is a huge part of being a scapegoat to a lot of the bigger industry heads that are teaching the up and comers to do these same things now, to have these parties, to treat women like objects, to objectify them, to degrade them. This is what they're doing. And then you throw words in there like the Illuminati and stuff like that. I do feel like it's levels to it. I do feel like there are certain clubs that you're in, and these are the things that are going on, and what, because it's taught, it's learned behavior. You have the bigger heads like the Clive Davises and all these other extremely powerful people that show these men all of these things, invite them to their parties, show them what to do, and then they go off, venture off, and do it themselves, right? But with less protection. The Clive Davises and people like that are going to be extremely protected while they're doing what they are doing, because they are the teachers, and they're not going to let their own go down. It's like police officers. If something happens with a police officer, like, they're going to protect each other. No different than the military, the army. They are all going to ride for each other. That's why the army, military, navy, they have their own court system, all of that, because they truly ride for each other. A lot of the crimes that these men in the military and whatnot have committed, they would have gotten completely different sentencings if they would have went to a state court instead of going to a court that is made for them, more so to protect them before they, like, throw them away, type of situation. So it's the same thing with Diddy. These court dates that we are seeing right now, because we keep hearing DV and stuff like that. It has nothing to do with what Diddy did to Cassie. He's not being charged with that. The hotel video, not at all. The video shows character. It shows Diddy's character. It shows and proves that with Diddy going around, because of course he's going to say that the freak offs were consensual, and whatnot, and they weren't. That video proves it. That video proves. That's all that video is for. He's not on trial for DV. He's not on trial for hitting and harming Cassie. Okay, no, SCX trafficking, racketeering, that is what Diddy is on trial for. So what the prosecution is using these past videos of Cassie in the Intercontinental Hotel and whatnot is to establish that his character is, this is what happens when you say no. So the escorts and people like women like Cassie and other victims that will be coming forward, this will help prove their case when they state that they really didn't have any consent or being fearful of saying no due to that. Due to this is what happens when you say no. It's not only him having his security handle certain people, he was doing it himself. So that is what the video is for. The video in no way, shape, or form is Diddy on trial for the video. No, it has nothing to do with it, but it does help establish character and motive to these women feel, and even the men feeling afraid of saying no to this individual because of how powerful he is. And a person like Diddy threatening you is different from a person like me doing it. While all of the power and the money and the influence that he has, this is why he's been able to get away with doing these things for so long, is because people actually fear him because he carries out on these threats. If he's telling you that I took out Tupac Shakur, don't play with me, that's a different type of threat. The person that did what they did to Tupac Shakur has still not been brought to justice to this day. So that gives merit to somebody that actually had a long-standing beef with Tupac and having a disagreement with him, and Tupac being taken out, and Diddy being friends with the majority of the counterparts that had everything to do with Tupac Shakur no longer living. That's a different type of threat. It's a different type of, I'm going to do what you say now, you know? And a lot of those people were threatened by him. So why would you not believe him? Like, what's to not believe? Look at Natanya Rubin. He pow Hurst clear in the face and got away with it. He pow at multiple people inside of a basically filled room, not an outside area, and blasting away. And he completely got away with it. Didn't spend one day in jail. So why would I not think that? I mean, and then the studio, there was one of Justin Holmes's friends that was powed in a leg by Diddy. Has proven, well, not proven that Diddy did it, but proven that he was actually powed and was picked up from that same studio that outside of the studio that Diddy frequents. So, and he completely got away with that. So why wouldn't I be afraid? Why wouldn't I be scared? If he said he gonna hurt me, he gonna hurt my kids, you know, all of that. Like, I can't be like he planned. I can't not take it seriously. Like you have to. So, and he, I think, is a fan of showing example, you know, to show people why you should fear me, why you should not say no to me. So to add all of that in and then go back to all of these things that Cassie was saying, I don't think that Cassie was brought into this situation because of money and all of this stuff. Cassie's a very beautiful woman. There's many men that, billionaires even, that would try to court Cassie and all of that. So again, she didn't need to be with Diddy. I do think along the way, being with Stockholm syndrome, you know, and whatnot, that Cassie thought she was in love with him. A person can treat you so well to where they convince you that they love you and you want to repay them. When you're a good person, when you have a good heart, you want to repay that energy. So I do think in the beginning that Diddy showered her with not just gifts, but love, admiration, made everybody think that, you know, Cassie was the next big thing. And that's what she wanted. What's wrong with having a dream? How is it greed to have a dream? How is it greedy if I want to go into the industry and Diddy hears me, and Diddy, the one who's known to make stars, he hears me and tells me that he wants to make me a star, that I have the ability to be the next biggest thing to come out of Bad Boy, you know, all of that, and Bad Boy is popping, you know, at the time. How was that greed? What's greedy about that? Being young and naive is what Cassie was. She just didn't know what she was doing. That's it. You live and you learn. She learned. And as she learned, she realized this is not a situation she wanted to be in. I don't want to do this. This is not supposed to be my life. Like I'm supposed to be an artist. I'm supposed to be acting. I'm supposed to be doing all type of stuff. And this has become my job. My job is to sleep with random men. I don't even know their names half of the time, just to appease you. And in the beginning, I do think that Cassie was down with it because she wanted to appease her man. This is how a lot of women have their first threesomes, you know, and whatnot, trying to appease the person that they are with because they are in love and they don't want to lose the person. So a lot of times you will bend out of fear of losing the person. So a lot of people will do threesomes and stuff like that, even orgies stuff, because they are in love with this individual. And I will meet you where you are to keep you because I love you, and that love has no bounds. Love has no conditions. So a lot of people will try to meet that person where they are mentally just to appease them. And sometimes it's really not something that you're into. Now you may do it once to make them happy so they can stop talking about it. You know, on Love and Hip Hop, oh boy, I forgot his name, I don't even care. But he kept telling his girl that he wanted to have a threesome. And I feel like she wanted to kind of just like get it over with because she wanted to appease him. So it's kind of like a one time thing in her head. But when some people get that pleasure, that sense of pleasure, they want it to continue. So one threesome done turned into three. Threesomes done turned into five. Five threesomes done turned into six. Six done, and now it's like going, and now it's, but it's nothing that the person wanted to do in the first place. You know, the other person in the relationship, like they had no interest. The other one did. So to appease them, they did it because they love them and they want to keep them happy and they don't want to lose them to somebody in the streets that is willing to do what they won't do. So if I do this, then I don't have to because I love you. I don't want you to go anywhere. Like, why would I want you to leave me? And instead of being cheated on, it's more so of a sense of this is something that we are doing together, you know, versus to you're leaving me and going out here and having threesomes and stuff like that and then coming back to me. So, you know, it's the preventative is how I think a lot of people think, but it's not something that they want to have long lasting, you know, something that they want to continue, you know, on a day to day basis, every single day or every time they're intimate, it's with another party being involved. I don't think that that's where most of their headspace is. And, but that's where a lot of times that it goes. So I feel the same way with Cassie. I think that she did agree to the freak offs in the beginning because she was just so much in love with him and just was it just in awe, you know, with this individual. So of course, yeah, you know, I'll do this to appease you. If this will make you happy, I'll do it. So upon doing that, I don't think she knew, being again young and naive, you have to learn. You know, if you knew better, you do better. You know, so how can you do better if you don't know? And it became more super consistent, and that consistency came to where it just felt like that was her job. You know, this is my life now. My life is to give my body to random men to appease this man that I am with. And if Cassie truly wanted to do it, then why was there DV? There should have never been DV. This is how the tape helps. The tape helps by showing that this is not what Cassie wanted to do. Because if she wanted to do it, if she wasn't being SDX addict and whatnot, then why is he beating her in this hallway? Why is this happening? And it's right after, and the thing is, Cassie said that freak offs, FOs, could last up to 3 to 4 days. What he did to her was because Cassie said she left early. So the Diddy wasn't done, you know, with the FO. He wanted it to go on longer. So who actually knows how long? You know, Cassie was already in there. She could have been in there a half a day already in that hotel room. Like she willingly took the drugs and whatnot to escape. That makes sense. If you are being degraded, you are going to want a sense of mental escape. You know, you would rather just let them just do what they're doing to you and whatnot, and you go somewhere else in your mind because it is dissociating with something that your body is viewing as because the mind can hide, the body cannot. The body cannot. Body language, that's why it's so important. That's why it's extremely important because you can sit there and ooh and ah and moan, but if somebody goes to touch you and you're just like and clench, like the body's not gonna lie. Like the body's gonna tell what the mind won't say, you know, within that point in time. And I think that that's probably like how Cassie started to get over time to where it became so disgusting to her that her body was giving off that she didn't want to do it. So she would dissociate. She would take the stuff willingly and whatnot, so that she didn't have to worry about being mentally present when these things partook. That also says that she didn't want to do it because if she did, Cassie should be a drug addict in my mind. Correct. If that's what she wanted to do, then she would be an addict. You know, Diddy was in prison high. He went to jail high and was having withdrawals the first couple weeks while he was in there. That is an addict. When Cassie left Diddy, it seems as if the drugs left too. Like she didn't do that either. She got married, had children, all of that, all of those things. And Diddy's defense team is trying to push it that Cassie left the relationship because Diddy wouldn't marry her. Then why was Diddy on stage while Cassie was married telling her that he missed her? He couldn't find her. He didn't know exactly where she was. That's weird. He the one that's pressed. He made an album about Cassie, an album about Cassie. His last album was about Kim Porter, but the one prior was about Cassie. Making songs, talking about move on, but won't, all of that. So how can you push that narrative when he clearly still wanted her, even while she was married? She whole married, and he's still singing. And he knew that he used to beat her, all of that, while saying these things on stage. Took this woman through DD for years, and is still on stage calling out to his victim. That's how narcissistic he is. That's how he tried to make himself seem godlike. Like, I'm a god. I can do whatever. I could sit here on national TV while you're married with children and still request you. After the last time I seen you, I SA'd you. That's how powerful I am. Come home. But the defense is going to push the narrative against Cassie that all of this is about money and that he wouldn't marry her. Well, what happened with Kim Porter? Because he never married her either. Kim didn't take him to court. Kim didn't sue him for money. Mm-mm. She didn't do none of that. So if Kim Porter would have came forward and said the same thing, would that be the same defense? Because Diddy's never been married. So how was that a defense? He's never been married. Why would Cassie be let down by not marrying somebody that has married no one? Why would Kim Porter be let down by someone that has married no one? Because if he didn't marry Kim, he wasn't going to marry anyone. That's how I always looked at it. If Diddy was going to get married, it would have been Kim. He would have married her. He didn't. So it's slim pickings with the rest of the women of the world. Like, he's not going to marry any of you. It's how I feel. Honestly, if I'm just gonna keep it a buck. He didn't marry the love of his life, so why would he marry Cassie? Why? We've seen women come forward in lawsuits and state that Kim Porter was a part of the FO. Just like Cassie. Kim just didn't get a chance to speak. Shout out to Diamond. Thank you so much, sweetheart, for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. This is why I feel like Diddy had something to do with Kim Porter's passing. This is why I've always felt strongly about that. It's because no one would have had more power to take Diddy down than Kim Porter. Nobody. It wasn't a stronger witness than Kim. This is why Cassie is the start witness for the prosecution, because she's had the longest relationship with Diddy, the longest living, because Kim Porter's gone. So, because Kim would have been who they wanted. The prosecution would have definitely wanted Kim. The difference between Kim and Cassie is that Kim is a Black woman. So the severity to protect her would not have been as strong. No, it would not have been. I am a firm believer that Kim Porter would have gotten a quarter of this energy that people have with backing Cassie. And how even with everything that Cassie's been through and a lot of the things that Cassie's done, people will still have more sympathy and empathy towards Cassie than they would Kim. 100%. So the prosecution still would have needed Cassie even if Kim was still alive. Just because that's how it is in America. Black women are thrown away. They are. They are throwaways. They are. They've always treated Black women like that. And nothing has changed with the judicial system when it comes to protecting Black women. They do not protect Black women. The justice system, like, don't get me wrong, the justice system is created to, I feel the majority of it is to incarcerate Black men. Agreed. But the system in protection has always been against Black women. It will protect a man, a Black man, before it will protect a woman. Look at Breonna Taylor, but look at George Floyd. You know, George Floyd getting gold statues and all of that stuff created. But poor Breonna Taylor is just like an afterthought. Because the judicial system has always been like that. It's all the Black women are thrown away. You know, with everything going on right now with Cassie, people should be screaming Kim's name more than anybody because she didn't get the chance to say her story. She didn't get the chance to say her side. This is why I feel that she was taken out. She didn't get, and I feel like she was going to. I think Kim was getting to the point to where she was ready to speak, to where Kim wanted to live her own life. I think Kim, just like Cassie got away from this, I think Kim wanted to do the same thing. I don't think Kim wanted to stick around. I think Kim, because he was still controlling her, even with her being in relationship, trying to be in relationships with other people, trying to move on with her life. He, while all of these other women dated Cassie the whole time, he was in a relationship with Kim. Like, well, not the whole time. Obviously, she had a few years, but of course, he was still having other. Look how close in age all his kids and stuff are. You know, you got Justin and Christian and the twins with the other daughter. All of like he was faithful to no one, faithful to no one, but controlled Kim. Kim is not on record dating any man besides I'll Be Sure, because I'll Be Sure was right before Diddy. After Diddy is the black spot, although he was with Jennifer Lopez, Cassie, Young Miami. So he has so many other women that he has been linked to and has been linked to the dating. But then when it comes to the women of his lives, it's like their love life is non-existent. It's like they don't have one. It like they don't have a relationship. They don't date after Diddy, like nothing. It's one of the weirdest things. And now it makes complete sense that he was still controlling them. That Kim Porter was not allowed to see other men. She was not allowed to bring men around the children. She was not, but Diddy got to do all of that. He going on vacations with women he just met the morning of. You know, all that. That's fine. That's fine. But then when it comes to these women, their relationships, their love lives are null and void. So Kim's story should not be, I don't feel like people should be saying her story for her unless you experienced or you saw something like yourself. But I don't think that it should be ignored. I really don't. You know, and shout out to Kim Porter and God rest her soul, and shout out to her family because that's really heavy to hear all of this. Is what so much confuses me about Quincy is that if all of this stuff was happening to Cassie and other women that have come forward, how can you support Diddy? How can you be near him knowing what happened to your mom? Knowing what happened to her? Quincy confuses me with the love that he says that he had for his mom. How could you have loved her? Because I would want to strangle Diddy every time I seen him, heard his name, anything. It will cause me to question everything. And Quincy has been around for a long time with Diddy, you know, since he was a baby almost. So he can't convince me he didn't hear things, see things. He did. You did. In most DV relationships, if children are involved, they hear things, even if they don't see it. They hear. Hearing can be more powerful than seeing it, honestly. To hear somebody screaming and wanting to protect them, this is your caregiver, and you hear them saying stop and don't, and you hear them being hurt and harmed, you hear things crashing down. So that can be very traumatic. It could be just as traumatic as seeing it, you know? So Quincy can't make me believe that he hasn't seen any of these things, that he doesn't know that Diddy was doing these things to his mother, like literally. Shout out to Tasha Sherry. Says Sean is my birth. Sorry to interrupt. Not sorry. I love you down bad. Okay. Um, y'all say two, three of y'all Hi, low key. Thank you for the cash app, low key girl. You sent me a cash app not too long ago. Thank you, low key. I love you, low key girl. I love you, girl. Yeah, y'all, two, three of y'all. That's it. That is it. No, Tasha. Two, three of y'all say happy birthday to Tasha. And I feel like actually one or two of y'all, because not all of y'all. It does not take all of y'all to say happy birthday to her. We don't even know if it's her birthday. Nah, we don't even know. Her picture don't even give that she was born in May. She look like an April baby. Nah. Now that's enough. That is enough. Thank y'all. That is enough. That is enough. Tasha, you got your nerve coming in here. And my show was real cute. My show was it was really cute. And until you came in. You got your damn nerve, Tasha girl. Coming up in here born. Like so annoying. When y'all come in here born, when y'all the day y'all just coming in here reminding us the day y'all ruined y'all parents' life. Tasha, Griff. Talk about, hey, Sean, today was the day I ruined my mom's vagina. Yes, today was the day my mom did go back to high school. Today my mom was married for 4 months after her shotgun wedding because of me. Like, Griff. Today was the day that my daddy walked out my life. Got y'all damn nerve. Move it right along. Now y'all said that that's enough. She got a couple. I cannot believe she came in here born. Tasha, the audacity. The audacity. I thought you was my girl. I thought we was here. Tasha, girl. No, she got her nerve. I cannot believe her. And I like love her. Like, oh my God. I cannot believe she would do this to me. Like hair flip. Like she just ruined my show. Just ruined it. Cause she gotta be born. It's my birthday. Acknowledge me. Tasha, somebody trying to take your birthday. Now I don't know. We don't really know you. We don't really know you. We know Tasha. We really know you. Tasha, somebody trying to take your birthday, girl. Go ahead and troll, baby. Go ahead and troll, baby. Go ahead. Because I wish I would. On my birthday. Hello. Hello. Sean belongs to me. No. So I'm here flip. So I love you guys. So let's get into they're in court. This is the second day of court with Cassie up on the stand. So we're gonna listen to what's been going on in court as of now, and I'm gonna explain and stop in the middle as I deem fit. Absolutely. Thank y'all so much for being here. Please hit the like. Please hit the like. 648 people in the building, 260 likes. Thanks to everybody who has double tapped that screen thus far. I really appreciate it. If y'all could keep doing that, I would really appreciate y'all hitting the like, hitting that like. I really appreciate that. Thank y'all so much. But let's get into this Diddy coverage. On in this trial, but right now, again, prosecution continues with the star witness on the stand, and at this point, all the defense can do, what they've been doing yesterday, is taking notes on Cassie's testimony, waiting for some moments, of course, when this cross examination will be happening, and then what they'll try to I'm kind of nervous for the cross examination because I really don't feel like they're gonna go like crazy hard on Cassie once she's pregnant. It's like what 8.5 months pregnant, something like that. She's about to pop at any moment. So I really don't think that they want her going into labor up there on that darn stand. I really don't think that they want that. Um, but I do think that they are going to grill her in ways. And the ways that I think that they're going to grill her is to try to make it seem like everything that happened during the FOs was consensual. And even trying to push the narrative because Diddy would have Cassie find some of the escorts for them. I think that they're going to push that too to try to make Cassie kind of incriminate herself, try to get her to incriminate herself a little bit. Because if Diddy's being charged for finding, these, trafficking and whatnot, then it's the same thing with Cassie. It will be the same thing with her. So that's incriminating too. And a testimony. I mean, unless they gave her complete immunity, a testimony does not because you're giving your testimony does not absolve you from crime. Like it's not. It really does not. So But I do think that they're going to grill her.
Do is their very best and to try to um, put some holes into the testimony, into the memory of Cassie, and also describing the attacks that Diddy is alleged to do beyond what we just saw in this 2016, of course, hotel video. And again, we are waiting for more updates for you
Who is
worldwide
drawing
on Live
these
Now from Fox.
pictures? Oh my God. And Mama Combs, you
This
look a
is all
mess.
setting up to be
Girl,
a
an
very,
ancient
very
mess. Like, girl,
emotional
you always look a mess. I'm like, oh my God. And then she always trying to wear blonde wigs and so like she ain't prehistoric.
day on the stand once again for Cassie as she is reliving
And who
these
drawing these pictures? Again, they is terrible.
moments back in 2016. And now we are seeing just how the prosecution is talking about days after what it was like for Cassie to be on the red carpet with Sean Combs just after that violent attack. No doubt they are trying to set this up and set her up for what the defense could say coming up here in this cross examination. They'll say, they'll talk about the video of the attack and say, were you just so scared of Sean Combs and so frightened by him that you went on the red carpet with him and to these different A-list type of events? And
I feel like those are stupid questions. Again, when you are in a relationship with somebody and you are going through DV, there are returns. You do return. It's not easy to just leave. And when there's somebody like Diddy, he was not allowing her to. He would send people after her, send people to find her, send people. He was even blowing up cars of men that she was hiding out at and places. Like, I feel like those are stupid questions. I don't feel like that proves anything besides the fact that she was in a relationship with an abusive person. That's all that proves.
were you that scared? Because it seems like from these photos and these images that you weren't scared of him at all.
Was she supposed to be on
So
a red
again,
carpet like this? That it was. Was she supposed to be on a red carpet like this? Was she supposed to be on a red carpet like this? How was she supposed to be there? She had makeup on her bruises and stuff too, but you can visibly see on the red carpet that she had bruises and stuff on her arms, so you could see, and it was makeup over it. Are you gonna ask her about that? Are you gonna ask her why did you have makeup over your bruises? Like, why did you have on a beautiful dress? Why didn't you come like this? With your eye closed, just looking disheveled. Why you ain't come with a torn shirt? And why you ain't wear the outfit you had on the day before? So we could tell what happened to you. I don't see what that will prove. I just think that that's stupid. Like, why does she look beautiful when she got this? She looked amazing. Because that's not the question. The question should be, after he did all of what he did to her, why would he have her there? Did he? After you pummeled that girl in the hallway, kicked her through the hallway like a soccer ball, why did you have her on the red carpet with you the next day? Oh, okay.
those are just some of the things that the defense could be bringing up, and again, we'll be again showcasing all of the latest updates here on Live Now from Fox as we get them. The great court reporters inside continue to give us the rundown and the vibe check of what it is like inside of that courtroom right now. And again, a very emotional testimony that continues. We are seeing the government use the woman prosecutor to
Can y'all hear
continue
good?
to talk and ask questions to Cassie. And right now, The defense for Diddy is just having to wait and take the notes to the best of their abilities on what they could
Hi, Nicole. Thank you.
possibly
Member.
ask Cassie and try to bring those holes and try to just create some doubt for the different jurors, because at the end of the day, you just need one juror to have that doubt in them to say, you know what, we know that Diddy is an abuser. He's caught on video doing that. Even the defense saying that he is guilty of domestic violence, but the defense is going to be saying that just because he is that he is accused of domestic violence and is guilty of that, that does not mean he is a that covers up in prostitution and also is a sex trafficker as well. So those are just some of the big takeaways that we are going to be listening for, and really, again, waiting for that cross examination that could come sometime after lunch here, because they did say, the prosecution, that it would take about a half day. And again, we are providing you these updates all in real time now.
Cross-examine, I feel like it's going to be brutal. Hold on.
These men, that it was expected of her by Sean Combs. Ventura said that she performed sex acts with all of the men shown, and that those who were paid with Sean's money. And just yesterday, we learned in the testimony that these people were paid anywhere from $600 to $6,000, and it was Sean Combs's money. He would hand it to her, and then she would hand it to the escorts there. So right now, they are continuing to relive just some of those many freak-offs that happened with Cassie and these male escorts that were hired by her, because she says in these testimony that she felt pressured to do so. And by Diddy, not only would he tell her the ones to hire, but he was the director, if you will, during these freak-offs, and saying the positions and saying how long it should go, and from there on. Again, these freak-offs consisted of alcohol, drugs, and so much that is considered in these sex parties. So again, viewer discretion is advised as we continue to talk and really showcase the latest updates that are coming from inside of the courtroom. And again, it is a very emotional packed day of testimony with Cassie Ventura back on the stand. We are awaiting more crucial information that, again, no doubt will be, again, relitigated by the defense in this cross-examination. Back out live right now, worldwide, outside of a rainy day in New York City at the courthouse.
Fast forward because
the government pointed out some apparent bruising from the hotel incident visible on her, on which she's getting drives. The prosecutor has and explicit details.
Okay.
We talked already about her throwing up, being urinated on, her having sex while she's menstruating. Really disturbing details that those jurors had to listen to. And I can tell you from the reports in court, they were paying attention to her every word.
Yeah, and I mean, again, Cassie's not saying these things because she wants to be humiliated, because they are humiliating things, right? She's saying these things so that the jury can get the subtext, context, paint the picture, see the visual. You need to know what I was going through so that you can see why. So I can tell you why I was going through, meaning I was afraid. The hotel video, that surveillance was just the one that was just recorded. We can only imagine how many other times that he did that to her, right? That he would hurt and harm her. She's not the only woman. Gina, whatever her name is. Her and a few other women came forward, and there's multiple lawsuits that were thrown out of women coming forward saying that Diddy was putting his hands on them. that he was hurting and harming them, and whatnot. So that was just one that was recorded, one incident that we actually got to see. Imagine the ones that we didn't get to see. And again, the humiliation, it's for Diddy's, I guess, for him to get off, because I think like he gets off to people being humiliated. And just like even being in court with Cassie having to repeat the things that happened to her, I think that Diddy likes it. I think that Diddy likes her saying how he humiliated her, and how he degraded her and her body. I think this is hard. Like this is a very hard thing to do because people are going to judge Cassie instead of just listening to her story. This is why victims do not come forward now. This is why Black women don't come forward when I like because many things have happened to many Black women that have just been discarded. And they are treated as if they don't matter. They're treated as if they are liars, that they are fast, that they are promiscuous, that they start having sex at early ages. All they want to do is twerk and drink and smoke and party, all of that. So it's like they're not taken seriously, like at all whatsoever. But somebody like Cassie, that has more so given like model esque and gives a very unique type of beauty and whatnot. She's looked at more so as an innocent. So again, it would be the same thing with Kim Porter. If Kim Porter came forward, I think that she would have been victim blamed. I do. I think that people are like, oh, she was using him. It was all about the money. It was this, it was that, instead of just a woman that met a man that kind of just took over, just kind of just took control of her life, kind of just like looked up and was not in control of anything that was going on with their life, because that happens a lot in life to where you kind of just look up, you just kind of just like, okay, what is my life like? What is going on? How did I even get in this damn situation? Like, what is happening? Like this needs to stop, because you start to learn, and as you learn what's good for you, what's bad for you, the things that you should be doing and the things that you shouldn't be doing, right? So I think that Kim Porter would have been victim blamed. I think that her accusations would have been heard, but I don't think they would have been taken seriously. I don't think that most jurors and the judge even would have hung on her every word. I think that it would have been easier to attack her, because with um, Cassie's cross examination, I don't think it will be brutal. I really don't. I do think that Diddy's defense team is going to come at her and poke a lot of holes into her story and the things that she has said. But I don't think that they're going to come at her. And I don't think it's just her being pregnant. I think it's how it will look with them coming at her. But I think Kim Porter, I think they would have ripped her apart. I would have think that they would have ripped her apart. Now, I do think the cross examination is going to be a little difficult for Cassie, because they're going to poke holes in her story, but they're not. I don't think they're going to go like at her. Like I really don't think that they're going to do that. But I think they would have did that with Kim Porter. I think that they would. Yeah, I think that defense team would have tried to make him seem like a walking, talking slur, a money hungry slur is what they would have tried to make her look like in the cross examination. I think it's going to be a little bit harder for them to do that with with Cassie, because she has shown improved. Cassie left Diddy, found a man, and got married and had a family and all of that. So they can't run with the narrative that she's just this wild thing. I'm like, clearly she's not. Like, she's been settled down. She's been settled down for years. And it's sad because Kim Porter didn't get the chance to do that. She didn't get the chance to go be with another man, settle down, get married, have more kids, possibly. Like, she didn't get a chance to do that. This man has been controlling her, manipulating her, and forcing her to do things the entire relationship. And I do think that with loving someone and wanting to, again, like I said before, show them that you are thinking of them and that you do want to make them happy, you do want to appease them, that you will sign up for certain things. But when no means no, when you're done with something, you're simply done with it. Diddy does not give these women the option. So that's when, to me, it turned criminal. It turned criminal when they didn't want to do it anymore and you were forcing them to do it. If it wasn't by force, then why did you allegedly break Kim Porter's nose? If it wasn't by force, then why were you dragging and pummeling Cassie through that hallway, throwing items at her, forcing her back to that room, forcing her back to go have sex. That's what you were forcing her to do, and not with you. Cassie said in her own testimony that that was the only time that they were really intimate. The only time that her and Diddy were intimate was when they were having a freak off. So it took him, other men basically, to get him aroused enough to even want to be with her sexually. Is what I heard. Is how what she explained. That's what I got from it. I got from it to where he was only sexually aroused when other men were around, when other men were present, when other men were doing to her what he wanted those men to do to him. He was living vicariously through her. I think that's where the direction, all of that came from. Him telling her what to do, telling the man what to do, saying how long a position is going to last. All of that. It's not like he's distributing PORN. It's not like you're a distributor, like you're creating this and it's going to go out to the public and the public's going to see it. No, not at all. I think it was his way of vicariously being gay. I get to be gay right now without people knowing. So it made it a little harder for people to say like Diddy's gay if he's using women as the penetration point, if he's using women as the actual sexual gratification with the men. But with him, he having Cassie bring these men semen to him and place it on his body parts, nipples and other areas and stuff like that. It sounds like that's who you want it to be. Like you want to be Cassie. But Diddy does not like gay men. I don't think Diddy's attracted to gay men. I think that he's attracted to hetero men, which makes it harder because a lot of hetero men are not gay for pay. Like a lot of those escorts, you can pay them to sleep with someone, but it has to be a woman. Like that's it. That's their cutoff point. Like women only, no gay favors. Like we don't do gay for pay, whatnot. And I think that those are the men that he was actually interested in. The ones that he would get off to were the not undesirables, but the desire that but he couldn't have. I think that that's how he used Cassie. So she was like a conduit, to the attachment of what he wanted done to him. Because why direct it? Like there's no reason to direct it. It's like if y'all just in here getting down to get down, y'all having a big orgy, or y'all just think freaking whatever. There's no reason to direct. There's no reason to do any of that stuff. Because if it was happening to him, he wouldn't have been directing it. He would have just allowed the person to do what they were doing. But he wants to see these things in a certain way. And he's extremely rich. So when you're that rich, you do get bored. Bored enough to where you don't want to watch POR anymore. You want to create it. And all that. I do think it started out of boredom because I don't think the elite showed him to record it. I think that the recording came from trophy. The recording it was the trophy, just like with Robert Kelly. Trophy. I do not believe that Diddy ever wanted the tapes and stuff out, the videos out. And it's the same thing with Robert Kelly. I don't think he wanted the videos ever out. I do think that it was for, his, viewing pleasure only. But you know how that go.
Some of the prior witnesses, well, maybe they were looking around that courtroom.
I had asked some of your contemporaries in the last couple of days whether or not they thought this very graphic video that was displayed yesterday of Diddy abusing Cassie in the hallway of this hotel.
And today the jury's supposed to be watching freak off videos. I believe that the jury's supposed to be watching FO videos today. Please hit the like. Please hit the like. Over 306 likes. Over 600 people in the building. Please hit the like. Please hit the like.
That was the kind of prosecution's, smoking gun, so to speak, or are they putting too much of their eggs in that evidentiary basket? What do you think about that question? What side do you come down on that question, Neil?
Well, I'm a former prosecutor, so I'm usually going to side with the prosecution. I think there is a reason why they are putting all their eggs in that proverbial basket, because that video does not lie, cannot lie. And we've been discussing this case for a year and a half, Andrew. When that video came out in May of last year, it was so powerful that Combs had to finally apologize publicly. And even the defense in this case, they're really tailoring their entire strategy around this video. They are admitting physical violence. They've said that Combs is essentially guilty of domestic violence. Now, maybe that's not conceding a whole lot because he's not charged with physical assault or domestic violence in this case, even though it can be a RICO predicate act. But they're trying to draw this distinction between physical force and sexual assault. And I'm not sure the jurors are going to buy it necessarily, because they're saying that this was a mutually violent relationship. I'm sure they're going to really bounce on Cassie's own words today that she was insanely jealous. I expect to hear testimony that she too was violent and that this was essentially mutual combat. But, to the extent that we're talking about Cassie having a black eye, being dragged by the hair, bottles being thrown at her, I don't think that's anything that any human being can consent to.
We're watching TMZ video posted online of Cassie Ventura's partner and husband, Alex Fine, walking out of the courtroom there, as you can see. He was with his pregnant wife just today there in Lord.
Escort companies are local, Jane. So how is it advocating if those escort agencies were willing to also go out of town and country? That, again, it's like a strip club. Strippers are not allowed to have SCX with the men, but they do. They do. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Bathrooms, private rooms at the strip club. Sometimes I'll meet them up after at hotels, and they're not supposed to be doing that at all. In most states, it's against the law to do, but they're not supposed to, like agencies aren't sending them beyond, because again, prostitution and escorting is not legal in all states. Some states it's illegal, and so that's why it's there. So like you can do it, but you got to do it there. Like where I live at, prostitution is illegal. Like you cannot solicit SCX here, none of that stuff, right? Not even electronically. Not even like over an app, or something like that. That's still against the law, right? But it's not going to stop people from doing it. So with escort agencies, if they are sending people across the country or to different states and whatnot, like if you are in the Nevada area, because I believe in Nevada, it's legal there. You can't go outside the state doing it and whatnot. And sometimes it's cities too, city limits. So I mean, there it's legal, so you can, as long as you stay there, you're good. But if you work for an escort agency in Vegas, right, and then you go to California, and the agency sends you there, that's illegal, because prostitution is not legal in California. Nowhere in California is prostitution legal. So that escort company should be in a bunch of trouble. Like, and if anybody found out about it, they would be in a lot of trouble too. So that's the thing with Diddy. Contracting these people, a lot of them are from states. I'm gonna say cities, from states where prostitution is illegal, where it's not legal at all. So he would have them come and fly them out and whatnot from different states to solicit SCX from them. That's where it falls into, African and and stuff like that, because it's all against the law. So
Manhattan. In the meantime, though, Nima, I have to ask this. So the defense's argument goes as follows. Yeah, Diddy may be a jerk. He may be a sexual deviant. He may be into kinky sex. Those aren't crimes. What do you make of that? What would the jury make of that argument?
It's a good argument, because really all they can argue is consent here. I mean, that's what separates sexual activity between consenting adults from sex trafficking. And they have to admit the physical force, because it's caught on video. So when you're talking about consent, and this is something that we see in a lot of domestic violence and sexual assault cases, you have someone like Cassie Ventura that remained in the relationship for many, many years. When they broke up, she chose to leave on her own. So the argument is that, well, if you're really being raped, if you're really being sexually assaulted, why did you continue to go back? The prosecution tried to elicit some of that testimony on direct, and it's true that Cassie loved Diddy, and she would perform these sex acts both because she loved him, but also because she feared him. And we're going to hear from an expert witness that's going to talk about the psychology of abuse. And I've tried many cases involving sexual assault and domestic violence, and jurors often tell me afterwards that they know of someone in a toxic relationship and with an abusive partner, and they understand why maybe someone would choose to stay, even though they would not, or you and I would not. That is part of the cycle of abuse, so it's not surprising in this case.
So is another kind of arrow in the prosecution's quiver going to be the juxtaposition between Cassie's life
And then here's the thing, like when people saying like, oh, Diddy was, sexual deviant and he was into all of this like weird stuff sexually, and whatnot, that's not a crime. It absolutely is not, right? But if Diddy's so powerful, Diddy got all of this money, he got all of this influence, he's still ugly.
then and Cassie's life now? Do you think they're going to make that distinction? And will it sway the jury, so to speak?
I think so, even if not explicitly, because her life now isn't necessarily relevant, but people are going to see that she's about to give birth and that she is in a loving relationship right now and she has healed from this past trauma.
No, he is ugly because if you got all of this money and whatnot, you shouldn't have to pay people to do these things. You got all of this influence, all of that stuff. Them just coming and being around you should be enough. It should be enough. Why do you have to pay for all of these things to happen if they're not crimes? Why are you paying for it? There are many people that are openly sexually fluid and will do these things for free. You ain't got to pay them nothing. You ain't got to force them to do anything, nothing. Many women that he could date that you don't have to force to do anything. You don't have to pummel them and pound on them in hallways and drag them back to the room because they feel like they done. They're not, you don't have to do. So to me, it's stupid when people try to make it seem like that. Oh, well, that doesn't make him yeah, it make him all of that because he could have been doing all of that for free. All the people around him could have been doing for free. That's why that nigga ugly. That's why I say you're ugly. Like you gotta be, because if you were attractive, Trey Songz ain't gotta do none of that. There done been many stories about Trey Songz. Many, many, many. Some lies, some true. But he ain't paying nobody to do nothing. No. He want to pee on people, all of that stuff. He ain't paying nobody to do it. Trey Songz is fine enough for people to just, women to just be like, yeah, go ahead. Put in whatever hole you want. Do your thing. Do your thing. Same thing with people like Chris Brown. All that. Yeah, there's been rumors about these men. Some allegations that are real, some allegations that are fake. But you don't hear nothing about them paying nobody to do anything. Those groupies are willingly coming back to Chris Brown hotel room and Trey Songz hotel room and the baby and Lil Baby and on and so forth. It's all willing. So they having freak offs and all of that stuff. They getting high and sleeping with each other for hours upon hours upon hours. What are you doing? Oh, God. Upon hours, and all of that stuff. That it just is what it is. It's like who cares? I mean, it's free. It's not paying anybody to do anything. That's not what that were. So I don't understand how that doesn't make him, because as long as people are willing, then there's no crime. There's no crime there to people that want to do something. But when people don't want to do it, that's when it becomes an issue. If you have to drag somebody back to a hotel room, there's no consent in that. There's no consent. Correct. He is our word. Very, very so much. There's no consent in that. That's when it becomes an issue. And this is why, again, that video in the hallway of the Intercontinental Hotel is so important because it shows that. Not only is it during a freak off, but it shows the intent. The intent was to instill fear into her, to scare her, to put enough fear so that she comes back and does what he wanted her to do. Now he pummeled that girl, and she still had to go back to the room in the position and situation, bruised, eye black, all of that stuff, and perform with strangers, with random men. That's a problem. That is an issue. 100%. That's what he's on trial for. Not DB, which he should be, but not DB. And even with situations like this, it's not helpful because there are women and men going through DV right now. Diddy is completely getting away with what he did to Cassie. Completely. There's no charge for what he did to her that day in that hotel. No charge. None. Even more reason for victims to not want to come forward. And if it's someone of caliber, someone that has money, someone well known that did that to them, why come forward? There shouldn't be a statute of limitation on pummeling someone, on beating someone. There shouldn't be a statute of limitation on it. Like it shouldn't. Like it should. You should be able to report it whenever you want to. And that person should be brought to justice whenever it's reported. But no, he's completely getting away with it. That's why it's like, thank God for the tape, although it's a horrible video. It does show what he's capable of. And for a person, because people never want to believe the victim, right? So when Cassie says, oh, well, I stayed because I was scared. I stayed out of fear. I stayed out of this. I stayed out of that. If that video was not out there, Cassie's testimony would be weak. It would not be a strong testimony. Will be a weak testimony because there's nothing backing it because Diddy has been covering his tracks for so long, right? So besides the people that empathize with victims and have been through things like that themselves, the ones that are kind of like a neutral, without that video, it would be easier to side with Diddy. It would be easier to be like, oh, he didn't do nothing to her. She was just there for the money. Blah, 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 blah. It would be easy to just sweep it under the rug and dismiss that maybe these things actually happened to her. But you shouldn't have to, because not everybody has it on tape. Not everybody has it on tape. So it's like now you need it on tape. Now you literally have to record the person or get around a camera of the person that's hurting and harming you for you to be believed. It's crazy. Like, it's crazy.
And it really is, when we're talking about what can someone consent to? Can they consent to, being forced to have sex with a male prostitute? Wow.
Shout out to Cream. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Says hi, handsome. Thank you so much for the stupid sticker. I really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Their husband covers them in baby oil and directs them what to do. Is that really within the boundaries of consent in a decent society? I think it's a very tough argument for the defense to make. It's the only argument they can
I don't
make.
think it's tough because when people are in deviant relationships, they're going to do anything they can to appease the person so that they do not get on that bad side, which you don't have to do much. Please hit the like, over 400 likes, over 600 people in the building. Please hit the like, please hit the like. You don't have to do much to set them off. A lot of times they're already set off. So you are already like on edge. You're already walking on eggshells. So if the person tells you to cook, you're going to cook. If the person tells you to clean, you're going to clean. If the person wants you to do something sexually, you're going to do it. Like out of fear of what will happen if you don't. So I don't understand how people just can't like recollect that like immediately instead of trying to judge Cassie for it. Like this is not about judging her. Yes, she stayed in a relationship for a long time. No, she should not have. Again, he got with her when she was 19 years old. She was basically a kid. He was a grown-ass man that knew better and should have let her be with someone with the man she was with, Ryan Leslie, somebody that was closer to her age and whatnot, somebody that wasn't trying to hurt or harm her, and things like that. No, not at all. He saw her, he saw a toy, he saw a trinket. He saw something that he wanted, something he wanted to dangle in front of people, upon people, and whatnot. So to me, that is trash. She was a kid, basically. A 19-year-old don't know much about life. What are we talking about here? Why are we acting like a 19-year-old is a 25-year-old? Like, no. Or a 30-year-old. No. She in her 30s now. So, of course, there's going to be a longevity behind that because she gave him her whole 20s. He took her 20s from her. When he could have been with somebody his own damn age or at least around it. But no, he hitting on teenagers. He's trying to get with teenagers, and stuff like that. So then when she do come to her senses, it's going to take time for that. Sometimes it do take years. Sometimes it does take that. Sometimes it does take years for a person to get the strength to go, to leave and stay gone. Cassie left multiple times. Don't nobody want to bring that up. He blew up Kid Cudi car because she would not return. So stop treating victims like they don't leave. They do. And a lot of them return out of fear. This nigga was on national TV on stage telling a married woman that is his victim that has 2 children to come home. To come home. So it was up to Diddy. That cycle of abuse would have kept going. It would have never stopped. It would still be going on to this day if he had it his way. But she got enough strength to leave and stay gone. But she doesn't get an applaud or a recognition for that. Let's just try to recognize and put together and poke holes in her story by saying she stayed with him for so long, so she must have liked it. She stayed with him for so long that hotel video was the only time he ever did anything to her. Although he came forward and lied after Cassie said in the lawsuit that he was putting his hands on her. He said she lied. He did not come forward and admit what he did to Cassie until that Intercontinental video came out on CNN. Then all of a sudden, his bitch ass did an apology video for Cassie and apologized about his actions. Although he had already lied and said that that was not factual, that what Cassie was saying, that she was not telling the truth, she was embellishing. When she wasn't. She was telling the whole truth, whole time. But he said it was a lie. Yes, he deleted it, Nash. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then he deletes something that he swore, like I said, because he scrubbed his IG, and he did this while he was free. His IG was not scrubbed after he went to jail. No, prior, he scrubbed his IG, where the apology was. I said, you could have got rid of everything on your IG, but you should have left that apology up there. You should have known, because you don't already took accountability for it. That's how you could tell that he apologized against his lawyers' advisement. Because they would have never advised him to go live and say that, because now it paints you, because you're admitting this now. So now if this ever goes any further, if this ever went to like criminal court or anything like that, we can't take that away now. Now you're stamped this now. You like gotta admit it, which he did. He had to admit it when he went to court. He had to admit that there was DD. But he would have never done that without that video. So it shows you how evil he is and how narcissistic he is and how he still feels that he did nothing wrong. Like there's no blame. He's taking no blame for what he did, still to this day. He's admitting it at this point because he has to. It's on record. How you gonna say you did? That's you. As naked as the day you was born, you conceal. That is you. That's your big back on that camera. That's you dragging that girl around and whatnot. That is you. So you can't deny it. But I mean, we've already seen cases and whatnot to where this has actually happened, but it only happens to Black girls. It only happens to Black girls. And then people are always trying to make it seem like I'm putting too much on that. No, I'm not. I'm not putting too much on that. Robert Sylvester Kelly, case in point. That was him on video with Rashonda. That was a teenage girl on that, and that was him, clear as day. Clear as day. That was him. You can't refute it. But he still got away with it because that was a Black girl. They are looked at as fast. This is what they want. She pursued him. She set him up. She lied to him. Her family just wanted money. The family allowed him to be. That would have never. Look at Cassie. They're not allowing that to happen with her. Sorry, Cassie's not a Black woman. She's not. Mm-mm. Kim Porter was a Black woman. That's a Black woman in the story. Mm-hmm. That's why I say it would not have been taken the same if this was Kim Porter on trial, although it should be, because she is the key star, all that when it comes to witnesses. She done seen everything. She done been around for it all. For it all. But it still wouldn't have been taken as seriously as somebody like Cassie, who has the skin complexion. Don't get me wrong, I'm Team Cassie. I'm Team Cassie all the way. But I'm just saying, she is getting shown a privilege. She absolutely is, that Black girls don't get. They don't get this privilege. Where Shona got taken out of the whole country. The whole country. During the trial. Didn't testify, nothing. They wouldn't. If Cassie tried to leave the country, it would have been a problem. They would not have let her left. Oh no. Oh, you ain't going nowhere. Nowhere. Because we need you. Yeah. They have always been trying to take R. Kelly down. The problem with taking him down the first time is that it was a black girl. It was a black girl. That was the issue. We don't believe those. They lie. They manipulate. They fast. They sleep around early. This is what they do. They just want money. They broke and trifling and live in the hood. So this was a come up to them. That's how they treat them. And they still do to this day. Uh huh. Yeah. Correct.
Like, frankly, they have to accept some responsibility for all of this. But I think they're really trying to thread this needle, Andrew, and I'm not sure they're going to be successful.
Yeah, I mean, I have so many hypothetical questions. I mean, I know we're still very early on in this trial. Two of them are as follows. Will some type of plea deal be struck throughout the duration of this? Or will Diddy testify? Will he be called to testify? Will the defense put him up
Probably
to
not.
testify? Those obviously remain to be seen. What other questions do you have? I know we're early on in this trial, Nima.
Those are two of the biggest questions. I'll answer them, and I'll come up with some of my own. Will there be a plea deal? I think it's unlikely, and this is why. There's really not any type of deal that the prosecution is going to offer that will not result in a significant
Amount of
prison
time, yeah.
for Combs.
I agree.
He obviously was trying repeatedly to get out on bond. Here's someone that doesn't want to spend any time in prison. He's not some sort of career criminal in terms of his criminal history and being incarcerated. He's fought charges before and won the New York nightclub shooting case. And he really has unlimited means. And, when people talk about these high-profile cases involving celebrities, and sometimes people think celebrities get a pass, but I can't imagine the Department of Justice giving any type of deal that doesn't result in at least double-digit or 10 years in federal prison, because there's so many eyes on this case. Imagine the uproar if they gave away the farm by offering him probation or, 1 or 2 year sentence. That's just not in the cards. So I don't think there's really any room to negotiate here between what the defense would accept and what the government can offer in a case like this. With respect to Combs testifying, I don't think it's going to happen, but I don't think
I agree. I do not think Combs is going to testify. I think that it wouldn't be wise. For the defense team, it would be better if he stayed off the stand. Because Diddy is a narcissist, and they know that Diddy is a narcissist, so he's not going to take accountability. So I feel like any question he would take offense to. He's going to take any question as an insult instead of a question. So I think that he won't be able to hold his composure. I really don't think that he will be able to do that. Like Cassie, she's the star witness, so they have been counseling her and getting her prepared for this for quite some time. So, like even the cross-examination, I do think that they prepared Cassie enough for the cross-examination. I think the only thing that they wasn't counting on was Cassie being pregnant. A pregnant woman, is harder for them to control their emotions. Pregnant women, their emotions are everywhere. Their hormones are everywhere during a pregnancy. So I still think that Cassie's prepared. I just feel like the questions that are more mortifying, the ones, because I feel like it's certain stuff that Cassie don't mind talking about, and I think it's just some stuff that she really just don't really care to speak on. And I think that is what the defense is going to poke at. I think they're going to poke at the things that make Cassie uncomfortable, the things that she doesn't want to elaborate on, because then it does make it seem like she's withholding a truth, or there's information that she may be withholding, or that she doesn't necessarily remember, and whatnot, and that can help with the jury and throwing them off to be like, oh, okay, well, maybe we need to re-examine the things that she has told us prior, because of this cross-examination. It's drawing a lot of more questions than answers. Like, we're not really getting any answers from this cross-examination, because that's what's going to make or break Cassie's testimony, is this cross-examination. So I think that the team is very nervous. The prosecution is still extremely nervous for Cassie to be cross-examined, because I think they've done a good job at setting this up and using the video as showing Diddy's character and why Cassie was afraid of him because of this is the result, of saying no to things. So how can you be truly giving consent for something to happen if this is the result of saying no? So yes means that the person that is getting what they want is fine, but you are actually being graped, if you will, if you're not consenting to somebody doing something to your body. Cassie allowing a freak off to happen, although she does not want to do it, that is her not giving consent. She's not giving consent. Anytime a person is not giving consent to something sexual, then you are being R worded within that point in time. The only time you're not is giving consent, meaning you want this to happen, that you're okay with this happening. If you are not okay with it, it should not be happening. No means no. Cassie leaving the hotel room during the freak off shows you that she was not given a choice. That there wasn't a do you want to do this? It's a since she's done it before, Diddy just assumes that she will keep doing it because he controls her. So since I control you and this is what I want and this is what you have already done, you're going to keep doing it. It does not mean that she wanted to do it. Doesn't mean that. And that video shows us why she would be, it would be more times where she would be reluctant to say no based off of getting black eyes and cracked ribs and stuff like that just by stating that you don't want to do something sexual. Please hit the like. Please hit the like. Over 600 people in the building. Almost 500 likes. Thank y'all so much to everybody who has double tapped that screen thus far.
Depend on how that cross-examination goes. If indeed they're able to beat up, and this is obviously metaphorically, Cassie and victim 2 and 3 on the stand, and they think they've made a strong enough case to poke holes in their testimony and raise reasonable doubt.
Shout out to the Real Versace says, speak on it, you got a new subscriber. I love someone that keeps it real and it's honest. Thank you so much and welcome aboard. Welcome.
I don't think they'll put their client anywhere near the stand because imagine the questions that are going to be thrown out at him. I mean, prosecutors will be, licking their chops or something like that. That's what you live for if you're an assistant U.S. attorney.
Correct. Prosecution would rip Diddy apart. Because if I was prosecution, oh my goodness, I would rip him to shreds. If I was, I would go in. I would, man, I would make the jury's heads turn. Okay, I would make the jury be like, whoa, like, ooh, you went there. Oh yeah, I went there. Shout out to Sam Price. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Says, hey Sean, thanks for what you do. Thank you so much for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Shout out to AAW says just subscribe too because the commentary is on point. Stand for Black women. Thank you so much, and I will always do that. I will always do that. Thank you so much for subscribing and welcome aboard. What did she expect for $250,000 a month? What you mean, Cassie? You mean Cassie? I'm confused by that. Because they were in a relationship. Correct. Shout out to Open Book. Thank you so much for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. If I'm in a relationship with my woman and I give her, even if we are doing freak offs, right? And I give her $250,000 a month, I'm giving her that because that's my girl. I'm not giving her that to do freak offs and stuff like that. No, not at all. You my girl. We're gonna do threesomes and all of that stuff just because that's how I get down. That's what I like to do. That's how I live. I do threesomes. We've done them together. You down with them too, whatnot. That's just what that were. You don't get to pay to degrade R word and people. You don't get to do that. You don't. See, a lot of people love doesn't hurt, right? At least it's not supposed to. So a lot of people that don't get why Cassie stayed, you have been loved properly. And I am so thankful that that has been the majority of y'all experiences. Like if you got a good husband or you got a good wife, somebody that will never hurt or harm you, put their hands on you, force you to do things. Shout out to you, right? Because that's what that gives. For a person to be like, wow, I don't understand why. Because what you don't get is, if you're in love with your husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, if you love them, like are in love with them, you don't know what you would do until you are faced with it, right? So if your woman loving you right and she not putting her hands on you, if your man is loving you right and he not putting his hands on you, it's easy to say that if he or her did, that you would leave, that you would be gone. Easier said than done. So you're not placing yourself there mentally because you haven't been through it, right? And then if you have been through it, then you know it's not easy to leave. It's not because you still love the person. The whole relationship is not hurt. The whole relationship is not pain. You have a lot of good memories with this person, how they make you feel, how they know you. And then it's the fear of learning a new person, getting back out here, getting up in age, and stuff like that. You ain't a little young buck no more because you done gave this person a lot of your time. So it's not as simple as y'all make it. It's not. And it's annoying when people do that because DV is very serious. And it's happening predominantly in the Black community to where it is normalized. A female walk up and hit her dude and yeah, that's right, girl, because I do the same thing. Like, no, don't normalize it. Because if he go home and beat her to a pulp, then what? You look on the news the next day and she gone because of he done lost control because she won't stop putting her hands on him. But then they label the male as the abuser. He was the problem. Although she'd been hitting on him for the last 4 or 5 months and he kept his hands to himself, trying to restrain himself from retaliating. And then one night he just lose it. It's not a joke. It's not a game. Like, try to understand something if you don't understand it instead of judging it because it's not something you think that you wouldn't do. Because again, it's a thought. You have to go through it in order to know what you would do. If somebody broke into my house right now, I could say right now, oh, I'm gonna hurt him. I'm gonna grab my bat. I'm gonna grab my piece. I'm gonna do this. I don't know exactly what I would do because I haven't faced that. I haven't been through that. So I don't really know. I know I'm gonna go into protection mode. I know that, but how exactly I'm gonna go into protection and survival mode, I don't necessarily know. But I would hope that I wouldn't just freeze up because some people do. Some people just freeze up, can't even move because the fear done paralyzed them. It's the same thing being in these relationships. You go from somebody kissing you and loving on you every single day to the next moment they taking a fist out your eye. And you in love with this person, like, will do anything for them. Now you got kids and all that. Oh, you're pregnant. Yeah. It's not so easy to just walk away. You lead them, you take the kids and stuff away. They want daddy, 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 daddy. I want my daddy, 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 daddy. You think it's easy for the mom to just be like, yeah, oh well, no, no, the kids still love that person. They still love them. Well, Haley Bailey and DDG going through right now, that's not an easy situation. Halo loves both of them. He loves them both. He may not have been the best to Haley, but he's good to his son. But guess who's going to suffer the most out of this situation? The son. Hmm. That's who's going to suffer. Correct. That's where the problem lies. This is where the trauma starts. So it's the same thing. A lot of women stay in DB in these relationships because they don't want to break up their families. They want their kids to have both parents because a lot of them didn't. A lot of them don't know what it looked like to be a single parent, and whatnot. They don't know. So it takes time, is all. Why judge them through that? Why judge them through a learning process? They're learning. They have to figure out what their new normal looks like. It's not easy to just walk away. It's not. And I've never been through DV. But I know a lot of people that have, a lot of friends. I've had a couple family members that have been through it. It's not easy. Because I used to be extremely judgmental about it. Like, oh no, you need to leave, da da da. Like, how you just gonna da da da? That's not my walk. I've never been through this. I've never been through it. So I can't tell you how to react to something that I don't even know how I will react to. Because you have a lot of people that don't even know they're being hypocritical. That I'll sit here and tell you to leave the relationship because you shouldn't be going through that. And then I get with somebody, I'll fall in love with them, and they do the same exact thing to me. But I'm not leaving, though. I'm taking time and trying to process this and try to figure out. But I was so hard on you, though. So hard on you. Because I already know what to do, right? Because I told you what to do. I told you to leave and to, you should be there. You don't deserve that. So why do I feel I should do the same thing? I should leave too. I don't deserve this either. But I don't. I'm still here. I'm still with this person. Why? There's many reasons. Many, 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 many. So I don't feel like that's a reason to try to judge someone or say, oh, she was with him for so long. She had no. It don't work like that. It does not work like that.
Other questions that I have is, victim three. The government talked about her. She disappeared for a while last week. This is a former employee of Combs. Is she having cold feet? Was she potentially paid off? And the reason it matters is, the government, you really want to support the testimony of Cassie Ventura with other victims who are telling the same story. I'm not saying that Cassie's testimony isn't enough, because the law says the testimony of one victim is enough. But sometimes jurors have a tough time believing one victim. That's why if you see in cases like Bill Cosby or Harvey Weinstein, you really see the government putting on victim after victim, R. Kelly, who are telling that same story. That's how you overwhelm the defense. So the question I have is 2 or 3 victims, is that enough to get a conviction here? Should the prosecution have maybe put on more, 5 or 6 victims, when you know what they're probably upwards of 100 people that are raising these types of allegations? Did the government go all in on Cassie Ventura in this case? Yeah, those are some of my questions
They
as
did.
well. Nina Romani, can't thank you enough. Your insight and analysis has been so invaluable.
Yeah, Cassie is definitely their strongest witness. So hopefully it's enough.
Only day 2. We'll talk soon. Thanks so much, Neil. The extent. All right, back out live worldwide for you on Lockdown from Fox. We are getting some new details from inside of the courtroom. We are being told Cassie Ventura told the court today that she and Sean Combs would occasionally go to sex clubs as part of the swingers lifestyle Combs wanted them to have. She said an escort called Jules would sometimes go with them and, at Combs' request, have sex with her. Ventura testified that she disliked the sex clubs but considered Jules a friend and a safe place and preferred to have sex with him than with strangers. I was just uncomfortable, she told the court. I'm not into the person I'm in love with being with someone else. That's just not my thing. Cassie Ventura also said that she was always drunk when she visited sex clubs with Sean Combs because I didn't want to be there sober.
Wow.
We are also learning after a scuffle, Combs said, "You don't know when to stop," Cassie testified. On one occasion back in 2013, while she was packing to go to Drake's music festival in Canada, Cassie said Combs scuffled with her friends and threw her into a bed frame. She said she suffered a pretty significant gash above her left eye. Combs' security personnel brought her to a plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills to get the wound stitched up. Afterwards, she texted Combs a photo of her injured face and wrote, "So you can remember." Combs replied, "You just don't know when to stop. You pushed it too far and continue to push." Sad.
Wow.
Also, a testimony from Cassie saying Combs would times convince her to go to these sex clubs or swinger clubs in Las Vegas or LA. At least once, she said, one of the escorts who participated in the freak-offs came along with his girlfriend. She said she had sex with the escort at the sex club. At times, Cassie testified, she told Combs it made her feel uncomfortable to go to the sex clubs. I'm not into seeing the person you're in love with somebody else, she said. Cassie said he responded by continuing to push for it, saying it would be a fun thing to do and we wouldn't have to go for long.
Prosecutors have also asked Cassie Ventura if she ever left a freak off before it was finished. She said she had sometimes tried to when it was a bad time or when she became scared of Sean Combs' behavior. She said she would typically find a back exit at the hotel and leave through an alley. But Combs would call her and look for her after she left, Ventura said. She testified that the only time she actually left the premises during a freak off was in March of 2016 at the Intercontinental in Los Angeles, the same incident in which Combs was seen on security footage chasing her down and beating her in the hallway. Every other time, she said, she ended up back in the room where the freak off was happening.
Wow.
So again, we are hearing from the prosecution, trying to frame up for Cassie and really the jury in mind, talking about just these freak-offs and how they're trying to pinpoint and really trying to zero in how Cassie felt that she was forced to participate in these, and talking about that she only.
I see someone in the chat said that there was. Oh, what did somebody in the chat say? It's kind of hard to differentiate between the things that Cassie wanted to do and the things that Cassie didn't want to do. I don't think it's hard to differentiate. It's based off of when she didn't want to do it anymore. So it gives the first year when she was 22, when he invited her into doing the freak offs. I do feel like he was doing it with other people at that point in time, still like doing it with like Kim Porter, and people like that, because he kept these women underneath his, thumb. As soon as she felt like she didn't want to do it anymore, which again, first year of it, her being 22, it was unconsensual. There was no consent after that. That's how I feel. If you're again doing something out of fear, there is no consent in fear. If I'm going to lay down in a bed with you and court you and be intimate or sexual with you, you need to be in agreement. If you do not agree, then anything I am doing to you within that moment is you being R-worded. You are being SA'd at that point in time. That's it. That's how I look at it. Correct. Correct. Why does she stay? Why do y'all stay when y'all men cheat? See, the question don't be why did he cheat? The question be why are you still with him? Why did you stay? Why did you get back with him? Why you let him come back? Yeah. So yeah, I'm just saying. Why lie? Especially to people you love. Like I think that that's obvious. I think it answers itself. I think that people that ask a question like that about Cassie and any other victim in that type of situation is you want to ridicule them. You want to find a way to make them responsible for what their abuser did to them. No one is responsible besides Diddy. I don't get it. I don't understand. He did these things to people. Many people. Cassie is not the only victim. She is the star victim. That's it. He has a long history of this, a very, very, very long history of it. So it's not about why a person stayed. Again, this did not start as soon as she got in the car with him. She didn't get in the car with him at 19 years old and he slapped her to the other side of the limo. That did not happen. Mm-mm. He courted her. Yes, he tricked her and made her think that she was something that she would never be. which was a star. That's it. He didn't want her to be a singer or any of that stuff because all of that stuff could have happened. No. He wanted her for a certain purpose. But you have to make sure that they're down first. So, it's no different than selling herbs and whatnot. You're not just going to just sell them to just anybody. It don't work like that. If you give me your herb dealer number right now, and I call him 9 times out of 10, he's not going to have anything to do with me because he don't know me. I could be the police, as far as he's concerned. So it's going to take different avenues and other ways in order to get me trusting enough to that individual for them to be able to do any type of transaction with me at all. So before he did the real transactions that he wanted to do with Cassie, which was turn her into a nympho, a drugged out nympho, is what he wanted to do and live vicariously through her, he had to trick her and make him think so. He had to trick her. That's what he did. It's called manipulation. All abuse. Why do people think that abusers are like outwardly abusive? To where they'll meet a woman on a day of and attack her the same day. Nobody. No. It takes time, right? It does. So an abusive person is not going to show the woman any characteristics of that at all. They're going to be fake as can be, meaning the opposite of who they really are, the opposite of their demeanor. So they're going to court, they're going to be kind, wise, sexy. They're going to do everything. They're going to turn on a charm. They're going to do all of those things. Correct. Until you blow up from this love bomb that they place on you. See, love bombs aren't real. When you truly love somebody, you can tell. Actions speak louder than words. So that's with a lot of abusive people. They'll say one thing, but physically do another. How do you love me? And then you black my eye right after you tell me that. Or you'll black my eye and then tell me you love me after you're done doing it. And tell me that you love me so much. Nobody loves you how I love you. I do this to protect you. I do this because I love you. I do this because. And it gets to the point where the victim will actually start believing it. Because they can't do anything else. Because love does not hurt. That's why courting is so important because that's how you make them fall in love. You do. And then a really good narcissist will go above and beyond because then you're brainwashed at that point. Then you don't know what to think. You don't know what to believe, who to believe. You get to the point where you will even protect your abuser. You'll even protect them. It don't have anything to do with money. It has everything to do with the person. Because some women go through this with poor men. I mean, they do. They go do this with men that ain't working, live with them, driving their car. So we can't box it and say, oh well, she was there because of money and all of that. Are you sure? Because she seemed fine. Cassie complained about a lot of things, but money wasn't one of them. Correct. So it's the blanketing it. I don't think it should be blanketed. Yeah. No one's falling in love with someone that they know is about to hurt them. That's why a lot of women and men are fearful of refalling in love because they feel like they know what's going to happen. They don't feel like they're worthy of real love. I'm not worthy of a lifetime connection. I'm not worthy of somebody that will do me part with death. I'm not worthy of that. They're just going to get with me, cheat on me, and get other people pregnant and be with this person and that person and all of that, blah blah blah. Or we'll be kicking in to be fun for a couple weeks or a couple months, and then it's just going to fluster and fall apart. all of that. You might as well leave now because you're gonna leave anyway. All of that. Like, fear is very powerful. Fear is very powerful. A very powerful thing. That's why many women are single right now out of fear, not because they have to be, not because they ugly, not because they can't get up. Fear. They're afraid. They've done it before, and it was painful. Heartbreak is painful. It it's so painful because there's no medicine. You got a headache, it's a remedy for that. You're heartbroken, the person is the only remedy. The only way to feel better is them. And the majority of the time, you don't want to be near them. But at the same time, they are you won't, whether they hit you or not. That's why a lot of women stay, why a lot of men stay. Fear. I fear leaving you. I fear meeting a new person. I fear you being with someone else. I fear other women or men being around my kids. I fear, like, it's fear. So to say, like, why Cassie stayed, why Cassie allowed Diddy to do things he did, love and fear. That's simple. Not hard. It's not rocket science. Love and fear.
In that moment, I didn't want to hurt him that way. She testified, I wasn't ready. So again, we are getting a little bit more about how this all unfolded back in 2016. We are hearing from Cassie relive those moments of being attacked at the hotel. Prosecutors just showed an image of Cassie Ventura and Sean Combs at an after party following her 2016 movie premiere, which took place a couple of days after her beating in the hallways of the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles. It shows Ventura in a sparkly green V-neck dress. She is seated with her arm threaded through Combs and was wearing a three-piece suit. In his other hand, he holds a drink. The government pointed out some.
I do have to say this too. Now I know they're saying that Alex Fine, Cassie's husband, has to leave for anything after 2018. I believe that happened to Cassie because they may be calling him in as a witness. I think the reason they're having Alex leave is because I believe Alex Fine was a freak off. Honestly, if I'm gonna keep it froggy with y'all, I think they want Alex Fine to leave because Alex Fine is a freak off. Honestly, he was Diddy's trainer. Diddy let Cassie borrow him as a trainer. And I don't think that Alex was ever there training anyone. I don't feel that way. I feel that the freak offs fell in love and ran off with each other. That's how I feel. I also feel that's why it was easier for them to get married and all of that stuff because he knew everything because he was a part of some of it. Just like Jules, how I think Cassie had feelings for Jules too. I think it's the same way with Alex. Jules was a freak off, but he had a job title while he was around security. Okay. He was security, but a freak off the whole time. I think it's the same thing with Alex Fine. I think Alex Fine was a freak off, and I think Cassie and Alex spending more time with each other, being freak offs, I think they fell for each other. I think they fell in love, and I think Alex wanted to save her. I do. That's just how I feel. So I think that that's why they want to possibly call him in as a witness. Because witness what? What did he witness? Because he wasn't around long. He wasn't around very long. And then he and Diddy have this up and down relationship. And then Alex would always call Diddy gay. He would always call him gay. Anytime they got into it, anytime Diddy is like when he made that song about Cassie, when he went on stage and said he always throwing up like rainbows. Alex, he's always doing that. Always. So I feel like Alex knows something we definitely don't know, because Alex hasn't spoke. But there is definitely an energy there between Alex and Diddy. I used to think that it was Cassie, but then the more I looked into it, I'm like, no, y'all have your own history. You two, Diddy and Alex, have their own history together. hmm And I think that Alex was a freak off. I do. I don't know, I feel in my heart is telling me Alex was a freak off. He was. Because Diddy gave all of his freak offs jobs. They all had a title while they was around. You know, he didn't call the escorts escorts. They weren't called models. They weren't called any of that. He would give them jobs like this is the dancer or this is an upcoming artist that's being signed to the label. Da 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 da. They all had a title. Same thing with Alex. I think it's mighty weird that he was so into fitness before he and Cassie got married. But then after he and Cassie got married, that kind of just went out the window. Craziness. Crazy work. That kind of just went out the window. So like what happened to the fitness? Like Alex doesn't really do anything fitness wise anymore. That's what I'm saying. Like, was that like a cover? Like, was it? Was that your cover and being around Diddy? Freak off? Hmm. So we'll see. We will see. We shall see.
To give us the rundown and the vibe check of what it is like inside of that courtroom right now. And again, very emotional testimony that continues. We are seeing the government use the woman prosecutor to continue to
Sean, do you think they'll call Jonathan Adi guy? He's been talking about FO. Right now, I don't think they'll call Jonathan Adi in like as a witness or anything like that. I think he's too unstable um, to be looked at as a credible witness. But I mean, anything's possible, and he is incarcerated, so anything's possible. But I doubt it. I doubt they'll call him in as a witness. Maybe a written statement, but I don't. I don't know. Jonathan out of his mind is like fried. You know, it's like he'll start talking about one thing and then drift into another and another. So it would be really hard, I think, to keep him on topic, on the subject at hand. I think they'll ask him a question, and that question will veer into him talking about something completely different, throwing the jury off, and whatnot is very important because the jury they go by everything they hear. So and there's a lot of information coming at them at once. So I don't think so. I don't think that Jonathan. I'm not going to say Jonathan's a liar. I just don't think that they look at him as credible enough. The prosecution looks at him as credible enough. Look at Cassie. Look how credible she is, right? Her and Jonathan are like two different energies. So I don't know. I doubt it.
He is just having to wait and take the notes to the best of their abilities on what they could possibly ask Cassie and try to bring those holes and try to just create some doubt for the different jurors, because at the end of the day, you just visible on Ventura's right shin. Ventura testified that she had a larger bruise on her thigh concealed under her dress. Just yesterday in court, Cassie Ventura was shown photos of men alleged to have participated in freak-offs and asked to identify them by name and to testify about how and where they were hired and in what cities they participated in the sex sessions. Now Ventura is being asked to do this again. The escorts are a racially diverse group of men, some of whom Ventura only remembered vaguely. She was unsure of some names. There were at least 6 men shown. Ventura said it was her job to hire
Gene Deal, fat, nasty, back line ass. He better not bring his flaccid arse up there and testify about a damn thing. And he is a known liar, so I highly doubt the prosecution will waste their time. Of course, the defense don't want nothing to do with Gene Deal, but I highly doubt the prosecution will waste their time with a known liar. So no, not at all. I mean, in that case, making a song, making a song, making the song, crying. Not my son, not my son. She'll be up there. She'll be up there. She down there with 3 overweight bodyguards, and they keep wanting to go to lunch because why she got 3 bodyguards? Girl, ain't nobody looking for you but the Dallas PD. So they have you all right up there. If they, I mean, they have her up there before Jean. I mean, have for what? The prosecution, he's not credible. And then the defense team, he's against Diddy. So the defense team won't want nothing to do with him. So I highly doubt it.
These men that it was expected of her by Sean Combs. Ventura said that she performed sex acts with all the men shown, and that those who were paid with Sean's money. So I just want to rehash one of the, I think, biggest moments that have come so far from this courtroom setting today, as Cassie Ventura is back on the stand. This is when we are learning a little bit more about the lengths that Diddy would try to come to Cassie Ventura just moments after the beatdown. This is what prosecutors are trying to showcase, that not only was he an abuser, but also that he would put fear and intimidation into Cassie. So I think this is one of the biggest takeaways right now that we are seeing back from this incident that happened in 2016. I want to rehash this. It says, Cassie Ventura testified that after the incident at the hotel, Sean Combs came by her apartment, banging on the door and yelling. This was normal, she said. He showed up quite a bit. Ventura didn't let him in. Later that evening, she went to the home of one of Combs' security guards, who went by the name D-Rock. Living in LA, I really didn't have a lot of people. Ventura told the jury she considered D-Rock and his wife close friends. Combs also showed up there later that night, Ventura said. So these are just some of the latest updates coming from inside of the courtroom, and we are getting these updates in real time, bringing them out to you. But I just wanted to again showcase what the prosecution is trying to deliver to the jurors right now, in showing this pattern of not only abuse by Sean Combs, but then his relentless pursuit to try to put these intimidation factors by banging on the door saying, let me in, let me in. So we are waiting to see just how this is all going to shake out in the cross-examination. But again, very, very crucial right now. So far, an hour into today's testimony, the prosecution is continuing to really zero in on this 2016 incident that was caught on camera at that hotel. And they're zeroing in so much on it because the incident was caught on camera. If you didn't have the images, it would be much more difficult
Correct.
for the prosecution to try to deliver home some of these allegations.
Oh, yeah, without that tape, yeah, this would have been over a long time ago. And it's still going to be hard. It's still going to be hard. He's definitely not getting life. I don't think Diddy's going to get life. Now, with him being older, I do think that he's going to get a decent sentence. But I don't think that he's going to get life. But for his age, it could be life, meaning like if they give him like 40, 50 years, that you're probably going to croak in prison. But I don't think he's going to get off scot-free this time. I don't. I do think that he will get charged. I do.
That they are putting forward on Sean Combs. All right, we are getting some new information right now. Text messages shown to the jury suggest Sean Combs was displeased when Cassie Ventura took ketamine. Ventura told the jury this was because it made her sexually inactive during freak-off sessions. It took me out of it for too long, she said. We're just high and not doing any intercourse. We are also learning some of the view of Cassie Ventura on the closed circuit video feed at the courthouse. She has taken off her jacket and is wearing her hair down. There is a monitor in front of her on which she's viewing the evidence being presented. There's also 2 plastic water bottles and a box of tissues. When testifying, she has to lean slightly forward to speak into a microphone. Periodically, she will run her hands over her pregnant belly or try to stretch her back a little when she is in the chair here. So we are waiting for more crucial testimony in day 3 here of the Diddy trial. Cassie Ventura back on the stand, still waiting for cross-examination that will be happening some point later today. Text messages shown to the jury suggest that Sean Combs was displeased when Cassie Ventura took ketamine. Ventura told the jury this was because it made her sexually inactive during freak-off sessions. And this is another way that the prosecution is...
Yes, Alexis, thank you. Please send that to me because I'm going to come back live at the 2-hour mark. I'm going to cut it at the 2-hour mark, and then we're going to come back. And then I'm going to, because then it would way more information out instead of like tediously sitting here waiting. Like we could like go over it. So I would love that. Thank you so much, Alexis. If you could send, you know where to send it. You can send my IG or whatever. But thank you so much. I would love that. Thank you so much.
Going to try to deliver on the fact that she was forced into these sexual acts. That is what the prosecution is going to be trying to really bring home to the jury, and by showcasing them some more text messages and also the testimony of Cassie. So we are continuing to be with you here on Live Down from Fox. Always great to be with you as we continue to showcase the latest developments that are coming from inside of the courtroom right now out in a New York City. It's a rainy day there right now. But I just want to go over some more of the big takeaways that we have seen so far in this day 3. We are learning through the testimony that Combs kept texting Cassie after she left the LA hotel following the attack. She testified too. She said he claimed police were about to arrest him, and when she refused to accept his phone calls, Combs told her that if she didn't pick up the phone, that she'd never hear my voice again, Cassie said. Jurors were then shown pictures of Cassie and Combs at a movie premiere soon after the March 2016 hotel attack. Cassie described bruises on her body that were visible in the photographs and said that she was unable to cover up all the damage with makeup. She wore dark sunglasses to cover her black eye as well. The jurors were shown photos of Cassie's swollen lip as she testified about the hotel attack from Combs. She said that she took selfies on the Uber ride back from the LA hotel. She said she wore sunglasses because she had a black eye. Once home, she said a friend of hers saw her injuries and was super upset because she has seen him with black eyes and busted lips before.
That's crazy. No, I saw that too. Shout out to Rachel. Rachel said I just like not judging her, but I could just never see how a woman could stay in a relationship, you know, with an abusive party. Like I'll say it like this too. Again, we don't understand things that we haven't been through, right? And then even the people that have been through it, you know, everybody's different, right? But it's hard to get into a mind frame. Yeah, maybe I should say it like that. It's hard to get into a mind frame of something that you would never do, right? So I'm not an rapist or a rapist or anything like that, right? I'm not an murderer. I don't hurt children, you know, or anything like that. And I don't understand it. Like, I don't understand how a parent could, like, we hear these stories of, you know, these mothers and fathers out here hurting their kids, taking their kids' lives. And I could never, like, treat a child like that. Like, I could never do, even obviously my own, I could never. But even somebody else's kid, like I couldn't do that. I couldn't hurt them. I couldn't do. So I can't wrap my mind around it because it's something that I wouldn't do. Like I just wouldn't do that. You know how people hurt animals, you know, and dogs and stuff like that, and cats and stuff like. I just don't see how people can do that. Like, how can you just hurt? It's like this is a little puppy. Like, why are you hurting this dog? Like, what is wrong with you? You know, like I can never get in the mind frame of that because I'm not that type of person, right? I'm not supposed to understand why a man would take a woman's body without her permission and hurt and harm her in the because that's not me. Like I would never do that. So I'm not supposed to understand something that I wouldn't do. I would never walk out of my children's life and not be a good father to them. But there are many men that do that every single day. I don't know how they do it. I don't understand it. You know, how, like the kid is completely innocent, like they've done nothing to you. It's the same thing in a DV relationship, right? So a lot of people look at the women as, you know, like, oh, you know, like poor thing and da da da. They are not weak. They're not. Some of the strongest women have been put through DV. Strongest women, one of the strongest women you ever meet before in your life, would have gone through something like that because they're not getting in the relationship, gaining this relationship to be hurt and harmed. That's not why they got into it. And again, that stuff does not happen until after you are in love. It is nearly impossible to be in a DV relationship and not be in love with the other people, with the other person. That's hard. So imagine someone taking that type of kindness and turn it into weakness. Somebody loving you unconditionally, that they love you so much that even when you hurt them, they will blame themselves and internalize and try to make you correct in the situation to even make excuses for you. Like, oh, well, maybe somebody did it to him. Maybe he watched his family or somebody go through this. Maybe his dad was like, even find reasons and stuff to, again, that's what love will do. Love is truly blind. It is blind. You know, it's not something you see coming. It's not. Many of us done left the house and wouldn't have thought that, you know, today on Tuesday, or was it Wednesday, I'm gonna leave the house today and I'm gonna bump into the love of my life. I'm gonna bump into somebody that I'm gonna have this like irreplaceable bond with. You know, when that's not what we think, but we bump into those people, we find those people find us. They do. And abusers only go after people of strength. Like people say they go after weakness. No, they don't. No, they don't. Because loving someone is not weak. There's nothing weak about that. That's why love does not hurt. That's why it's tricking them. They have to trick the person into thinking that there's someone other than who they are. Because most abusive people are that with everybody they've been with, you know, not just one person. You know, usually if a man becomes abusive and wasn't abusive like with any other relationship, it's probably because the person he's with is hitting him. Mhm. A lot of times when men hit women for the first time that don't hit women, it's because they're putting their hands on them. And now they, you know, but an abusive person just all right, I mean, all out, every relationship is like that. Pretty much. Like everybody that I never dated, they don't put their hands on. And that's what makes them a coward because they want to control the woman. Most men that are putting their hands on women aren't doing it to truly hurt them or take their life or anything like that. No, not at all. It's to instill fear so that they get their way. That is what they want, is to make them afraid. I need to make you fear me in order for me to carry out what I want to carry out. You feeling weak, you being afraid, you being scared uplifts me. It gives me a power, you know, that I have this control over you that you can't do anything about. I control you so hardcore, you want to leave, but I want to allow it. And that's why when women leave, the abuse usually intensifies. It gets worse. Because to them, you ain't scared of me? You ain't scared of me? It's like punishing your kid. If you spank your kid, and whether you use a belt or your hand or whatever, if you get them a swat or two across their butt and they just kind of just turn around and look at you, because it's the fear you're trying to instill. You want them to fear doing whatever they did to get reprimanded in the first place. So that's where spankings and stuff like that derive from. It don't derive from actually trying to beat your kid or hurt your kid. Like, no, not at all. It's to teach them that you pushing it too far. So this is how I'm gonna get you to fall back, because you're doing the most. I need to regain control over you. And sometimes parents send their kids to boot camps. They send them to trade schools or vocational schools. So everybody's punishment is different, but it's a way of gaining control over them. You tell your kid not to go outside, and they still go outside. And then you get them home, and then you tell them to go out to not, and then they do it again. Eventually, you're gonna have to try a different way, because telling them not to go outside ain't working. So you're gonna have to try something else. That is where spanking and stuff derived from. That's where it came from. That's what's it's a scare tactic, a fear that you're instilling. That's what abusive people do. They go around and find people that can love them enough for them to betray. Mhm. Correct. So you will never see it coming. Mm-mm. You won't, because they'll make sure you don't. See, a good narcissist controls the entire situation, not just part of it. They even control their own narrative. So where they even make you believe their narrative. They will completely rewrite their history, tell you this rewritten history, and you believe it because you have no reason not to. And then you start to see signs and things of why this person probably was not telling the truth about a lot of things. And that makes you dig. It makes you go do your research, whether you're talking to family or friends of theirs, stuff like that. You can get a hold of one of their exes, or they have kids, their kid's mom, or something like that. Then you get a lot of information, and it's a high probability that they're telling you the truth, and then you have to put two and two together. You got to do that. So again, I don't think it's anything anybody wants. I don't think anybody seeks it. It just simply happens. It does, and then it's unfortunate. But they usually don't attack until they know they got you. Until they know, like, yeah, you eat, breathe, and sleep me. So I don't have to worry about you going nowhere. I don't have to worry about you doing nothing. I don't have to worry about none of that. And if I do, then I'm gonna take my hand to you. That's just where it comes from. So a person not wanting to stay, after, and then even comments like that can be very kind of hurtful to people that are going through situations like that. Because if we know somebody that's going through DV or could possibly know someone's going through DV, then the most you can do or should be doing is being there for them and just letting them know you're not alone. That's it. Not like, oh, well, girl, I don't know why you're going through that. I don't, none of that's all judgmental. It's judgmental. And you can keep that person just like we can be the person that help a person come out of DV. Hi, Sarah Boo. It's been a while. Hi, Boo. Just like we could be the people to help a person come out of it, we can also push them back into it. We can. We can push them right back through that door. They can be listening to us and reading the comments and whatnot and finding strength in the stuff that people are saying and actually want to get out, want to go talk to somebody, want to go to a family member or something and ask for help. But then they'll see comments like, oh, well, I can never do that. I just don't understand how a person can do that. Like, it's devaluing them as if it's something that they want to go through, and they don't. They don't want to go through it. I mean, unless you're a toxic person, you don't want somebody hurting you and then telling you that they love you after, or bringing you a gift after, or hiding bruises and black eyes and stuff like that, cuts and stuff from your children, and like that. Nobody, I don't think anybody wants to go through that. So that would make me think, well, what's in them that feel like they can't leave? I wonder what's holding them there. I wonder if it's they just don't have a foundation without that person. They have multiple children, or it's this, or it's that, or are they not well? Are they sick? Is the person paying for the hospital bills, or is their family sick? And the person looking out from, like, there's all different type of controls that people have over people. You know, so it would cause me to think that, you know, like, well, what are they going through? What's happening to where they feel like they can't leave or that this is the route for them when it isn't. And that's common sense that it's not the path. But I would offer assistance and just let the person know, like even in the chat, hey, if anybody going through anything like that, I don't understand it, but just know you're not alone. Know there's people out here that care about you. Know there's people out here that draw strength that haven't been through that, and if they did, would hope that they would not allow it. But I'm here for you. Correct. Devaluation, yes. So it's like, yeah, so that's my thing. It's like I don't want to be like judgmental about it. Even someone that went through it and got out of it. It can even be disheartening for them to hear that because then it makes them feel less than or oh well yeah, I am stupid. I did waste a lot of years with that person and you know, um I feel like we shouldn't want that. I mean it loving yourself, losing yourself, and then trying to journey back to who you were is so hard. It's so hard. Think about like being in high school, happy go lucky, stuff like that, just a good all around fun individual. And then life happens. And you kind of lose that inner teenager, that inner child, to where you can't be sarcastic, like you're taking life just so serious. Now you're always so stressed out and all of that. It's like it's hard finding you again because we're not all these people, right? We haven't always been this person, that we become. And it's no different than a person being in a relationship like that. You can lose yourself in someone else to where you don't love yourself no more. You feel like you're not worthy, of somebody loving you and whatnot because we are our own worst enemy. No one deals with us more than us. We are involved with ourselves 24 hours a day. So if you do not like who you are, that's a very sad life, very depressing, hard life to not even want to look in the mirror because you don't even like who you are. You don't care about you. You put all your time and stuff into other people, into other things so that you don't have to focus on you because you don't know you anymore. You don't know who you are. You don't know what you want. And then on top of that, this nigga putting his hands on me, all that, like, you lose yourself. So it's a journey to getting back there. It's like Cassie, when she would be on all of those Uggs and all of that stuff with Diddy, being that 19-year-old girl, it's hard to get back there. It's hard to find yourself again after you've been through all of this stuff. Kim Porter, it was hard to find herself again when she had lost herself in this man and in this relationship, and it's all toxic. It's hard to get out of that alone. Like nobody can do it by themselves. You need help. You need assistance. To do it because you'll revert. And go back to hating yourself. Or pitying yourself and whatnot. And that's not healthy. Like that, there's nothing good about that. So that's why people like Cassie, they're heroes because she slowly but surely making it back to herself, finding herself again, figuring out who she is instead of being this person that he tried to create her to be. And that's the life after DV. This person wants you to be weak. This person wants you to be passive. This person wants you to fall at their feet, is what they want you to do. Everything is about them. Nothing is about you. Anything you want, need, wanted, none of that matters. Your life is no longer yours. And then leaving that situation, a lot of people don't know who they are. They don't know where to start. They're lost. So what they do, they stay in a situation that they recognize versus the unknown. Because the unknown is 10 times scarier than knowing what to expect. With this individual, even if he put his hands on you, you know what to expect. You know his triggers. You know the majority of the things that's going to set him off. So you try to avoid those things, as much as possible. So, and then to leave that situation, where do you go? What do you do? So to you, it may be simple. It may be, oh yeah, I'll just go start my life. I'll just go live with family. I'll just go do that. What if you don't have family? What if you don't have friends? What if you're dating somebody really prestigious to where this type of information getting out could destroy a lot of stuff, ruin a lot of things, even your children, affect them? Like we got to think about all that stuff. Like it would probably be easy for you not to be in a relationship like that because you probably have a lot of people backing you. You probably got a solid family, and all of that stuff. And Cassie did. Her mother loves her dearly. Her father loves her dearly. So it's not that she has people that she doesn't have people in her life that love her. Oh, absolutely. But sometimes it's not enough. Sometimes it's not enough. You know, sometimes it's just not enough. You have to come to it in your own time. You know, I can tell you all day long what to do, but you're not going to do it until you're ready. Or when you do you do it completely different from how I said that you should. But you still do it. And that's what matters. So yeah, I don't. Again, it's the salacious part of these situations that I think people hone in on when we should just be honing on the fact that she's no longer with them. She doesn't want to be with them. She learned. She knows better. She's healing. She's on a journey back to a path to herself, finding herself after all of that over a decade being with this individual and trying to figure out who you are because you have no idea. It's like graduating high school, going to college, or just graduating or just growing up in general, going out and getting your first place and job, and you don't really know who you are, but you are trying to figure it out. You want to know. You may know the things you like, the things you want to eat, the clothes you want, or the fashion. You may know those things, but who are you though? Most people don't know who they are, and abusers take advantage of that. That because Diddy could have never did to what he was doing to someone young. He has to. I mean, to someone older, he would have to start off that way. He not getting no 25-year-old female, 30-year-old female, 35-year-old woman doing all the stuff that he was doing to Cassie. It's not happening. It's not. Mm-mm. They're set in their ways. They know what they want. They have a better idea of who they are, and what they will accept and what they won't accept. But a young impressionable 19-year-old that don't know much about life, just getting out here, starting out, he took advantage of that. He did. He tricked her, manipulated her, gaslit her, loved bombed her. He did all those things to her. She was a kid. He knew better, not her. So why blame her? She's not to blame. We got to stop acting like Cassie got with him at 35 years old and he took her through all of this stuff and she just stayed. It's like, girl, you're 48 years old. You was with him for 10 years. You don't know better? Like, why didn't you? This is not that situation. It's not. So we got to stop treating it like that. Stop treating her like she started dating him when she knew better. She didn't. Correct, groomed. He did. He took a young lady, a young impressionable girl that didn't know much about anything when it came to Hollywood. That girl ain't know nothing about no Hollywood. She didn't. All you know is what you see on TV. So you know. You're not connected. You don't know the who's and all of that stuff. Clubs, you don't know none of that stuff. So why are we treating her like she knew everything she needed to know? Are you sure? She was 19 when she came out. It was all the stuff we got today. No, we didn't have the Instagrams and all that. We didn't have all that. Easier ways to track people and find different. We didn't have all that. Like we did it. So, like, why are we? It's a little weird to just be like judging her. You know, like that. Like she wasn't 19 years old. I think people are overlooking that. Like, but imagine your 19-year-old daughter being with somebody that rich and famous. Imagine your 19-year-old son being with somebody that rich or famous. There is going to be a lot of issues. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I would be petrified if my 19-year-old daughter called me and told me that she was with a Diddy. Why? Oh, he gonna make me famous. He gonna see that. Oh my god! Like I'm just going to be assuming the worst is happening, even if I didn't hear these rumors and stuff. Like even if I didn't hear that, I would still be. You would a super grown man. I'd rather be around somebody your age because then they're gonna be making mistakes just like you. Like why? Like I would be very alarmed and very worried about what's going on. I mean, my kid is 19, so it's like I can't. mean, my influence only goes so far, and you know how rebellious teenagers are. You tell them not to do something, and they're gonna dive into whatever you tell them not to do. Because I know I was that way. My mom told me I couldn't do something. I want to do it even more, just to show her that one, I'm gonna be fine. Because you think you know everything, you don't. So it's just like I was just very rebellious. So yeah, I think that we should look at it from that perspective, instead of looking at it, like Cassie was a grown woman, like super grown. Because 19 to me is not like grown, like growing, but not grown. There's still a lot you have learned. You ain't even been through nothing yet. To me, age is experience. And sometimes people experience a lot, at an early age. So you'll meet them at 18, 19 years old, and you feel like you know them your whole life, and you 34, 35 talking to them, and they feel like they're the same age as because they've been through so much early, a lot of unnecessary stuff that they should have had to go through, like raising their siblings and taking care of their parents, if and stuff like that. Like they shouldn't have had to do those things, but they have, So yeah, that's where I'm going to leave that. So we are going to come back live later. I want to get more, let more of the information come out. So in about 2 hours, we will be back on here. I'm trying to decide if I want to throw in a couple other topics as well, or if I just want to keep, doing the whole Diddy thing. What do y'all think? Do y'all want me to mix it up with topics, or do y'all want me to just stay on the Diddy for right now? Diddy and Cassie. What do y'all think? I'll let y'all decide. What do y'all think? Diddy and Cassie, or like a hot topic? Diddy and Cassie. Mix it. Okay, great conversation. Okay, Ash said mix it up, mix it up. They just said mix it up. Kale said stay on Diddy. Kale said stay on Diddy. Like, stay on Diddy. We are getting nettered, Neff the Goddess, especially after what Netter said. No worries. We will stay on that bumpy neck. We will stay on that bumpy neck. Oh, Rose said whatever you want to do. Okay, okay. Uni said both. Okay. Sam said and Netter crashing out very so much. Very so much. Marcia said do some Netter. Oh, we're getting some Netter today. Even if I have to do 3 lives. Because I don't even mind doing 3 lives. We could come back and talk about Diddy for like 2 hours. And then we could come back and talk about Netter for like an hour, hour and a half. And get into that tea. Holly and DDG. I do want to talk about that too. I do. That's why I said like a mixture. Because we could do that. Because we could start off with like Diddy and Cassie, and then get into like DDG and Holly, and then but I do want to get nettered. I do want to get that content in. I do, absolutely do. Okay, okay. Can we stop talking about netter? No, not at all. That is not happening. But there's plenty of other channels that are not. Tell them we said hi. How did you drama? Yes, I do want to talk about that. I do. I do. I do. First you gotta get another. I am. Is, is. Okay, so we'll mix it up. We'll mix it up. We'll do a mixture. We'll do a mixture. That's what we'll do. That's what we'll do. We'll do a mixture. Okay. Well, I love you guys. I'm gonna get out of here because I don't want this live to go past 2 hours, but it absolutely did because these are like powerful conversations. I don't think that they're like easy to talk about, and I try to mix a little comedy in it, but at the same time, it's like I don't see what there's like nothing funny about DD or anything like that. So yeah, but I love you guys. So I will definitely be back. Thank you for all of the super stickers. Hold on, let's see. Let me make sure. Okay. All right. Perfect. All right. I love you guys. So I will see y'all. Yes, I recorded your coffee truth hurts. I recorded it, boo. I got you. Okay, I love you guys. I will see y'all in a little bit. In about 2 hours, we'll be back over here. Okay, I love you guys. Please hit the like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. We will be back with the Diddy and Cassie tea. I love you guys. What time we come back in 2 hours? And I also want to see. This is why I want to mix it up because I want to talk about Alex Fine being a freak off. I feel like I have information. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, we're coming back. We're coming back. We're coming back. Whatever. We're coming back with the tea. Okay, we're coming back with the tea, guys. And I'll see y'all on the next slide. Thank y'all so much for being here. Mwah.